Hello everybody, we're gonna carry on our speed run. What are we? 765. It's not a speed run, of course. Speed runs are particular things. Okay, we've got e4. I'm gonna go e5. I'm expecting knight c3. Or we could have knight f3, or we could have a Vienna with knight c3. Okay, we'll go normal, I guess. So I'm not going to play my normal repertoire with f5. Opponent is from Georgia. We have a 3 knights. Okay. We have a 3 knights. Now, interestingly, I was just actually watching a video on the 3 knights Petrov. I'm going to unbalance things by bringing my bishop out. Okay, so this pawn is defended. We're attacking this knight. This is almost like a kind of reversed Roy Lopez. And we'll just see what we get. How do you win at the 800 level? Well, players at every level make mistakes. It's just that the mistakes maybe get less obvious, subtler, more deeply concealed as you get on, as you go higher up the rating ladder. It's relatively early morning here. It's before 9 AM anyway. Got a cup of coffee in it. Feeling a bit kind of battered today. Had a good sleep though, so I don't know why that is. Are there strange things going on? Are there strange movements in the heavens? I don't know. Okay, we have a kick. Right, I'm going to take the knight. What this is going to do is unbalance the game. Now, if opponent takes back with the b pawn, they've got... Okay, so they're taking back there. I think that's probably correct. So, what we've got here is we've got a slightly better pawn structure for black. Right, we've both got advanced pawns. This guy is under attack. This guy is defended. I think d6. Just unleash this bishop, and it's got a very natural square to go to on g4. I think just pinning the knight there on f3. I'll probably develop my other knight. I'll want to get my king castled. I'm going to keep my options open as to which way I want to castle. If I go to this side. My rook will be on there. Is there an argument for that to maybe support a pawn push up the middle? Don't know. Then it's running into quite a lot of crossfire, you see, from these pawns. Or do we? I mean, this is move 5. I'm already starting to think about what kind of shape of game I want, and then maybe an f5 break. Free up the f file. That's a kind of typical idea. So all options there. Oh yeah. So I hope you're enjoying this series that isn't a speedrun. The reason it's not a speedrun is because for it to be an official speedrun, you have to be an official chess.com partner. And I'm not an official chess.com partner because I'm only a little YouTube channel. I'm not a title player. So if I was Gotham or Naroditsky or whatever, then I could say, yes, I want to do a speedrun, or Grandmaster Simon Williams, for example. These guys get to do speedruns. I can't do a speedrun. It's actually against the rules. Which is why this is not a speedrun. In an official speedrun, any player that you beat gets their points refunded as well. Well, that's a very odd move. What an odd move. There's a few things weird about this move. The main thing is that he's not developing his other stuff. Right? The other one is he's blocking in his bishop. I don't get this at all. He's probably thinking about some kind of pawn action. And as we've seen, there you go, another pawn move. Just look at this. Look at this. 7 moves from white. 5 of them have been pawn moves. Okay, I'm going to just drop back, I think. I'm going to see if he's going to go absolutely pawn crazy and push g4. He is. There we go. Okay. Now I drop back here. This pawn's actually undefended. So I've done nothing here, right? Yeah, I took the decision to trade my dark squared bishop for the knight, which has messed up his pawns a bit. But my opponent at the same time is voluntarily messing up his own pawns. Okay, here I have h6 or h5. Or technically I've got f6 or f5 as well, but there it's just attacked twice. Well, I just let him capture towards the centre. There's absolutely no point in that. So f6 gets in the way of the queen, gets in the way of the knight, opens up a line towards the king. What's the point in that? So it ain't going to be either of those moves. It's going to be h6 or h5. Now, most people would just play h6 at this level, thinking I don't want to overextend. However, think about h5. Always think about this. If he just pushes on, it's fine. This pawn's blocked. This pawn on g5 is blocked. His options of castling that way are not great. He's offering a draw. I don't want a draw. Okay, so I'm going to play h5. See what happens. If he takes here, I take back with the bishop, and the knight is pinned again on the queen. That's the point. Okay, and now he comes in and attacks my queen. So having moved this pawn, I'm now much more inclined to long castle. So I think I can just push f6 here, right, with tempo. My pawns guard that. And this is one of the things about this this setup. After having traded here and him putting his pawn on there, I mean, that pawn really, by rights, should be back there. It does make life a little bit harder for this dark square bishop. So he's going to have to come back to one of these squares, I think. So his present problem is that the bishop is under attack and has to retreat. It can only retreat to 3 squares. One of them is very bad. Aha, he's decided to counter-attack. So he's captured on there. I'll take back with the bishop like I was going to anyway. This pins the knight onto the queen. Notice nothing defends this. Bishop defends that. His bishop is under attack. Nothing defends that. Okay. Only the king defends that. Okay. So look at this position now after White's 12th move. It's not pretty. Okay, so he's got options of this. I was thinking put maybe my queen on d7. If I did that, and he did that, could I do that? Not really. Okay, I think I'm just going to develop my knight. The thing is, I've got an option of putting my knight here as well. I don't see any reason. Let's just put it towards the centre. Right, this is kind of the point that you don't have to force a lot. You don't have to do a lot. Let your opponent make his own position worse and worse and worse. So now my queen's only got d7. What do I do about this? I have that, actually. And if takes, and suddenly he's got a queen up here. That's the thought. You can always just block with the bishop. My opponent's got an isolated pawn now on the h-file. And just look at this absolute mess of pawns. Right? And this is such a sign of beginner play. It really is. Where is this knight going? I mean, my knight's got ideas that maybe could come around this way. I probably wouldn't commit like that. I think my general plan is going to be queen d7, long castles. If he does this, I have this. But really, I'm just going to just feed my opponent enough rope to hang himself, you know. He's got good control over this square. With knight, bishop, and pawn. So the idea of g5 break doesn't make a lot of sense. I've only got one thing to recapture with. So that would lose a pawn if I did that. So, you know, discount that idea. Maybe queen d7, maybe f5. If he doesn't play this. Point is, both kings are still in the centre. I would like to get castled, for sure. See what opponent does. He's down under 10 minutes already. Let's flip the board over. So just look at this from White's perspective. It's like, where are you going to put your king safe? You're probably going to have to long castle. Yeah, and we've got this diamond here, which actually then makes life very difficult for the dark squared bishop, right? We do not have a dark squared bishop. We've got a light squared bishop that can zip round, can pass between and through, you know? Whereas this bishop's going to have a really bad time of it. He's under 9 minutes now. So this is actually a really useful tip. Just hit X on your keyboard if you're on chess.com, or F if you're on Lichess to flip. And have a look at the board from your opponent's point of view, because it looks really different. What are your ideas? I mean, I do see for White, actually, this diagonal looks really interesting. It might stop Black from castling. And he's resigned. Okay. Okay, well, we don't need to say too much about it. I didn't do anything. It's like, seriously, I didn't do anything. Okay, we're going to have another game then. Okay, we've got an opponent rated 739. This is good. Again, we've got the black pieces. Alright, we're going to go down the same route. e4, e5. Now, as an intermediate, okay, a Vienna, brilliant. As an intermediate, playing e4, e5 can get you into a whole load of territory, right? So knight f3, knight c6, and then you could then you have to know how to deal with the Spanish, the Italian, the Scotch, the Ponziani, the three knights, everything, right? However, that's good education. That's the point. So as a beginner, I do recommend e4, e5, even like d4, d5 and stuff like, and get into these main lines, get into these classical lines. So we have a Vienna. I'm going to go normal. I'm going to see if he plays the Vienna Gambit. Or is he going to bring his bishop? He's going to bring his bishop out. Okay. So there we go. Bishop's looking down here. This knight is not in any serious, threat of coming in too soon. Let's develop a knight. Again, I'm just going to try and play this very much with a straight bat. Excuse me. Now, as your rating improves, then going down those classical lines, e4, e5, you can get into a whole lot more. There's a whole lot more that you might need to know. Maybe that's why I like to go for these more slightly offbeat openings, because I want to surprise my opponent. I want to take the initiative quite a lot earlier and get them into my territory. That probably isn't the best way to strengthen and improve when you're like sub 1000. So here, I'm not doing anything really special at all. This pawn is defended. I'm just getting my minor pieces out. I've got my king castled nice and early on move 5. Right? I'm going to push this pawn. Probably not there, because as you can see, white has mucho control over that. If he's got ideas of pushing b4, I can always drop my bishop into here. Knight takes, that's a good knight. Okay, so I'm just going to do this. I'm going to invite him to try and trap my bishop. I can even drop back, you know, make him push another pawn, then do this. But I'm just going to stick it in there. Knight takes bishop, knight takes. Means the queen has to defend this pawn, which is now under attack. Interesting. Now, I'm looking at pawn structures now. As a clue to evaluate, do I want to trade my bishop for that knight, which is the better piece? And in the Vienna, this queen's knight can be really strong with the idea of coming into this square. A bit like in the London system as white. Your king's knight normally wants to come to e5. In the Vienna, it's kind of the other way around. But I don't have to do anything. Let's just carry on developing. Right? He's not threatening my bishop. It's all good. It's all good. And again, you see, over and over again. Now, the bishop kick is not a bad thing, per se. But look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pawn moves in 9 moves. Again, how many have I made? 2. That's the difference. I'm going to drop my bishop back to e6. We now have tension. He could come here. In which case, I would consider the kick. The point is, he hasn't got his king safe yet. He's had 9 moves. He hasn't castled. If he does this, I'm going to recapture with the f-pawn 100%, right? Well, there's no other way to recapture. But that's why it went there. Okay. Right, I'm going to have a think. I could take the bishop, for example. If I take the bishop, he's going to cast it that way. But I could take the bishop, then he takes the knight. Then I take his knight, and he takes my bishop. Then our queens are facing off. Or I just take the knight. He takes the bishop. I could take another knight and threaten another bishop. I think that's the way to go. If he takes here, he's not threatening anything other than the pawn, right? And he's jumped into the middle. What the huh? Okay, I can take... Oh, but then he takes with the pawn. We don't want that. Now, so this is, again, very, very common situation, right? 2 knights, 1 bishop. If you take here with a knight, which is very tempting, it's the centre pawn fork trick. I could, though, take with the bish. If I take with the bish, he's actually threatening this. I'm going to take. Now, the question is, how does he recapture? He recaptures with a pawn. Okay. Now, he's attacking the defender of that pawn there. This is a very interesting little tactical exchange that has just gone on. I have a check with the rook or also with the queen. And neither of his bishops can block, so I'm going to throw that in just for giggles. Right? Queen blocks and king moves are the only moves. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay. So notice he's attacking my knight. He's also attacking this pawn here. On the downside, he's just lost castling rights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save this knight. And I'm going to give up this pawn. He's also got double pawns here, remember. There. He takes... Now I could take the light squared bishop. I probably won't. I'll probably come back to g6. This bishop is going to be hampered. This bishop is going to be better if he captures here. That was a really interesting little exchange there. Now I could just drop back here. I don't actually have to. If he takes, I can take back with the rook maybe. What an interesting position. It was that knight coming into the middle that was really surprising. This move. So at this point, it's just a piece each. And here, what's he doing? He's tempting me to capture. I didn't have to capture. But I do lose a pawn at the end of all that. Very interesting indeed. Okay, now do I want this bishop? Do I want the bishop pair? If I take there, he takes back with the d-pawn. I'm going to take it. Okay. The reason is, one reason is it reopens this file. The other one, he captures away from the center with a pawn, and it leaves him with only the one bishop. Okay. Now this pawn is going to be defended after that pawn takes, so that's not really the point of this. But now my queen can start to maybe have some fun on the light squares, seeing as there's no light square bishop around anymore. And really important, his king has been forced to move. Not sure why he's thinking for this long over that move. The knight d5 move, he took 5 seconds over. Well, this is bizarre, because he's just moved his king, and I don't understand why. Because I just took a bishop, and he's not recaptured. Why isn't he recaptured? I mean, after this, what's the threat? I don't get it. Okay, well, I'm just going to centralize my knight again. Whoa, whoa. I tried to move there. This was a mouse slip. But anyway, I'll let him take it. Weird. So he's gone there. I tried to make that move and it wouldn't let me do it. And again, he's just not... What on earth is going on? What is going on? Okay, can I save my knight? If I take this pawn, he takes back. If he takes here, that's actually not too bad. If I go here, still doesn't save my knight though, does it? Maybe I'll just do this. Idea of sticking my knight away in there. But I think we're just going to... Okay, I'll recapture. Okay, so interesting times. We're equal, bizarrely. Material is equal. Got to watch out for this. The queen can recapture now. Okay. Right, interesting times. I have this as an option. He has en passant. So the risk here is they're trading everything off, and then my king is opened up. I can't defend with a rook. I can't really move the knight either. I can maybe lift the rook up, but that actually blocks the queen's defense. That's not good at all. That loses a pawn. If I put my rook there, right, he's got takes, pawn takes, queen takes, pawn, and I can't recapture. So that's not even an option. So let me move this pawn forward. I want to put my rook on maybe b8. This is what the hell is going on? He's moved his king again. I'm freaked out. I honestly just don't know what's happening here. Okay. I'd like to play that. I can't do this with the idea of defending my knight. I'm going to push h6, just again. See what my opponent does, because... Oh, he had an Italian 4 knights position. Well, that cries out for the centre pawn fork trick. Okay. Right, save the knight. Now, he should be thinking about attacks down here. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Got this possibly as well, actually. That's pretty good. But my knight does belong. When your opponent's only got a bishop of one colour, you really want your knight on the opposite colour, and you've got a knight. Because the bishop can't hurt your knight, but you can hurt it. Because a knight on a light square looks at a load of dark squares, right? But the bishop can't hurt it. So the opposite is true. If you're on the same colour square as the bishop, because it can capture you, but you can't capture it. So you 100% want to get your knight onto the opposite colour to your opponent's one bishop. Okay, there we go, we recapture. Now we do actually own the open file because there's no option of rook e1. Okay, he's going in for the checkmate idea. This we understand. Okay, now you might think, well, that blocks the bishop's knight. No, that would be a blunder because bishop takes knight and the defender is in a pin. So that doesn't work. Okay, so I have queen f8. I think that is that does make sense. Still, that prevents that because the pawn is actually still technically pinned. G6 is also a thought. Knight G5 is also a thought. But then he attacks the piece. Piece moves away, and then I get checkmated. So that's less than ideal. So I'm thinking about this. This is also doesn't work because queen still takes. So it's down then to queen f8 or pawn g6. Pawn g6, I open up these dark squares, and he will then want to try and get his queen into those dark squares. But you can't go via that square or that square. If I push this as well. Let's try this one. Okay. Now, note this pawn is undefended. Might want to double up queen and rook on the open file. That seemed to make sense. Might play this as well. Now it's kind of weird because I'm putting my pawns on the opposite colour to the bishop, so I'm not really making life harder for this bishop. I feel like I'm going to get absolutely shocking guess the elo at the end of this. Okay, now I can actually hit the queen. Stop the advance of that pawn. Okay, maybe even rook here. Even f5. f5, queen defends g6. f5 is a weird old move, but h5 makes some sense. These squares are all covered, you see, that's the point. King defends this. Now the queen can't get in, is the point. She can't go here, right? She can't go here because of the pawn. She can't go here at any point. So now, remember you can't get in there, right? So now I'm thinking maybe this. Oh, she's got that. I just gave her that. Oh no, that's not clever. Queen takes h4 check. Okay. Do I want to stop that idea? Well, yes. That was a clever move by white there to try and get in this way. So I'm going to put my queen back there now. Where did my queen come from? Yeah. So I noticed the queen couldn't get in this way. I failed to notice this way in. So that's pretty. That was smart. Smart move. And my opponent is attacking pretty well. Now, rook e8 takes, queen in, queen comes back. We're kind of okay. What a fascinating game. I think we can handle that. Queen now comes in, but there. And we may find ourselves now. I actually have a couple of moves here. I've got queen f8, which might lead to a trade of queens. I've also got f6, defended by the knight. Queen then defends g6. It's a very odd. Let's go for an ending. Let's see what happens here. If queen takes, king takes. The idea being, Well, that just blunders a piece. That was just weird. Weird. Okay, he's now got doubled isolated pawns here. Right, so now what I need to do is I need to get my king to the centre. And he resigned. Okay, I've clicked on an ad there by accident. Just bizarre. Just bizarre. So the first game made a lot of sense. This one was just, I mean, a mix of some really interesting moves from my opponent and some utter blunders. Okay, he made a complete cock-up here by not recapturing the knight. And then that was a mouse slip, okay? Other than that, he ground away and got a really good position here. Threatening checkmate. And I played like an 1100. Best move here was... F6, go figure. Yeah. Interesting stuff. And he played brilliantly in the middle game. And then just guys, I can't explain this. I can't explain it at all. But that's chess, innit? So it goes. So it goes. But we got the win. I'm now up to 800. So we'll see what happens next. Yeah. Really odd. Let me look at this. It's saying we both played a brilliant opening. He played a brilliant middle game. Mine was good. He was crap in the end game and I played brilliantly. And it's given me 1100 rated. But then that's based on my starting point. So what was the accuracy? 80. We were both around 80. Now that's very rare. That's very rare. Okay, inexplicable. Complete and utter suicidal play from my opponent at the end. Just really weird. Really weird. Anyway, draw a line under it. Okay, move on. That's the game. That's the way it goes. You take your chances when you see them. I don't know what happened with that mouse slip. I don't know why my knight moved there. It was just weird as well. But hey. We live and learn. Okay, thanks for watching, everyone. See you later.